My name is Rachel Waits, and I am doing an informative speech for my Communications 100 class online. The topic I will be discussing is Welfare SNAP Benefit Fraud by ABODs, Able-Bodied Adults Without Dependents. So, welfare fraud or food stamp fraud is referred to as trafficking. Lying or selling your benefits are considered fraud. There are several different types, but we will focus on the ABODs. So, an able-bodied adult without dependents. That means there's no disabilities, no health issues of any kind, mental or otherwise. They can work, they're refusing to, they don't. Now, the problem with ABODs is that this is the type that makes people who pay taxes angry. This is one that people look at and they're like, why are they on this program? Why hasn't somebody kicked them off? Why aren't they working? This one that makes them angry and goes, hey, let's get rid of the program. We don't need it. Look at that. It's being abused. There's no one that actually really needs it. So they want it gone. Now, when you implement work requirements for these people, and this is just a small fraction of the recipients on there, the numbers drop. They start looking for work, they start training, they do something. They're no longer just sitting around, just receiving them for free type deal. I'm going to quote you from heritage.com, their website I researched for this topic. This is about Maine. They were one of the first states to implement strong work requirements. Maine offers both training and community service slots in response to the new work requirements. However, most ABODs, able-bodied adults without dependents, in Maine refuse to participate in training or community service, despite vigorous outreach efforts by the government to encourage participation. When ABOD recipients refused to participate, their food stamp benefits ceased. No more, they're done. They have a certain amount of time to get on this program. It's not just, hey, we implemented this today, come sign up today, or no, they get about 3 months. Some get a little bit more. Arizona work requirements, and ABOD has 3 months to sign up for worker training programs. They have to be working at least 80 hours a month, which, that's not very much, 20 hours a week. You're basically working part-time. They have to register and participate in certain programs. They have to be actively looking for work or be holding a job down. Let's see, the program, register and participate at least 80 hours a month in job search or training with supplemental nutritional assistance, employment, and training. Now, there are exemptions to able-bodied adults that work. If you're receiving unemployment already, if you're pregnant, if you're in a domestic violence situation, if you're over 50 or under 18, you qualify. You are typically exempt from this. You are one of the exceptions. Now, when Maine implemented, and I have not done the research for, I've looked up the numbers for Arizona. I cannot remember them at the time, excuse me. But Maine, when they implemented their work program, they saw a drop of 80%. So that means 80% of able-bodied adults without dependents were on the program. They refused to look for work, or they found work once they started looking. But 80% drop. I mean, we're talking several $1 million here a year, if not more. Welfare cost in 2015 was over $1 trillion. The number of people on it was 45.8 million people in 2015. And now this is when 2015 we started seeing more jobs. There was more jobs to be had. We were switching directions. Things were improving. And this year alone, we've seen a massive increase of jobs this last 2 years. So 2015, the cost was $83.1 billion almost. For, I think that was, I'm sorry, let's see, that was for I was for part of the program. I thought I wrote it down, but I did not. So yeah, APODs are a big part of the problem. We spend, out of the $83.1 billion that we spend on welfare programs, a large chunk of that is going to people who can work. Now, one of the things that we also need to do is people who do have dependents, we do need work requirements for them. Just because you're a single parent does not mean that you don't get to work. I have friends who do it all the time. Work requirements go a long way toward making people happy, toward knowing that people aren't just sitting around receiving, because that's been the biggest hype. People not working, people sitting around receiving benefits for nothing. People having to work and pay more in taxes because there are people like this. That goes a long way. Work requirements can go a long way toward improving people's attitudes to the program. It needs to be implemented across the board. Yes, there are exceptions. Elderly whose Social Security won't cover for everything. Severe disabilities where you cannot seriously work and you need to be in a special home or something along those lines, or a caretaker, anything like that. But it's going to be long in the making. People resist this. People on the program don't want the work requirements. Some of them because they generally don't work. Some of them because they can't find work. But, if you can volunteer at the shelter, animal shelter, at the domestic shelter, any place like that, if you can volunteer at these places, if they provide you the training that you need to start looking for work, then there should be no problem in any situation for these adults of any type to be able to start working, to be able to prove that they are working. It will go a long way toward improving the program. It has got to change. There is a lot of fraud. I've spoke to DES workers who will tell you that there is a lot of fraud. It'll be long in the making. It will be resisted. But if we can get these going, if we can get these work requirements in place, it'll also go a long way toward improving people's attitude to the program in general. Well, thank you very much for allowing me to speak to you today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.